Thanks for checking out this video on the Greater Middle East. So at this point, if you've watched some other videos, you've heard about our 10-year crazy goal between 2019 and 2028 to invite 130 million people to meet Jesus by offering them a Gospel of John. You've heard that League members are people who love Jesus, love the Word of God, and they have a heart for the lost. And you've heard that we're trying to achieve that 130 by going along 3 pathways. And we're very careful about which pathway we choose because we want to be great stewards. Right, we have the member pathway, largely in North America, where members ask for 30, 60, 100 Gospels. They provide donations for that, and they're out inviting people and adopting a lifestyle of evangelism. You've heard that we have a digital app where we take a Google ad out, and people who are seeking God and they're searching on the internet, typing in keywords like Jesus or hope in Jesus, or then downloading that and reading Gospels of John. And if you haven't watched that video, check it out. You'll see a table of the top cities in some of the darkest places of the world. And you've heard we have strategic partners. We have strategic partners in the Greater Middle East, in places like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, and other countries. And they're on the ground risking their lives. And they help us reach people with the very living Word of God. In some of those places, they're downloading it digitally. Other parts, other cities, other locations, they want it in paper because maybe having it on their phone in that city or that location just might be too dangerous. Whichever way, we want to make sure they can get the Word of God. And our strategic partners in the Greater Middle East, at great risk to their own lives, are doing amazing things. You know, it's interesting in some of these cities. Let me give you one example. In Pakistan, in the city of Karachi, 27 million people live there, largest Muslim city in the planet. I didn't know that until we met the strategic partner. He got permission. He went to the local government and got a permit for a Christmas parade. Now think about this, right? We have Christmas parades in the United States. It was the first time they'd ever had a Christmas peace parade. And they reached 1 million people with Gospels of John. He broadcast that the parade was going to come on a Sat-7 satellite. And they're watching that this parade's going to come through their city. And there are people waiting for this parade to come. And one story is amazing. I'll tell you 2 stories, but one story was there was a woman who was forbidden to leave her apartment by her husband. She was a Muslim woman, and she wasn't allowed to leave. And so what she sees this parade, she literally runs out of the apartment, grabs a Gospel of John, and runs back, risking probably being beaten for doing it, but just wanting the living Word of God. The other thing that's happening in the Greater Middle East, and I won't want to talk about what countries there are, just for security reasons, but as the Taliban expands its spread outside of Afghanistan, which is what's happening, they're going to imams, and they're saying, when you find a Muslim family from Afghanistan, please let us know, because we're going to come take the husband and put him and press him into service in the army, and we're going to sell the wife and the daughters into slavery, probably sexual slavery. And I don't know about you, but there's a couple different ways people practice Islamic faith, right? There's the violent way, but there's also people who believe in a single, holy, righteous God, that they have to live a righteous life. They're trying not to sin. Think about all the things they agree with us as Christians. What they don't know is they don't know about grace. And so these faithful imams have been saying their prayers every day and reading the Quran and leading their congregation. And so they've been really trying to practice this peaceful form of Islam in a very local context. And now all of a sudden, the leaders show up and say, oh, no. That's not the right form of faith. You need to give us this man so we can press him into service so we can go wage jihad. And by the way, we're going to sell the women and the girls in sexual slavery. And there's imams who are saying, I didn't sign up for this. And they're disillusioned. They're like, because they believe in a holy God. They believe there is a God. They know that they fall short of his standard. And they're trying to figure out, they're lost. Guess what? They were reading Gospels of John. I didn't believe it at first. When I first told this story, I was like, you got to prove this to me. I don't want to exaggerate as a ministry leader. It just sounds crazy that we're reading Gospels of John in mosques in the Greater Middle East. We are. The enemy has overplayed his hand. He's overplayed his hand. And what's happening is, if you think about Romans 1, where it talks about, look, everybody knows there's a God, but people, their minds are taken captive. Well, those minds were pushed to a point where it just didn't make sense to them. So now they're looking for the one true living God. They're being offered the opportunity to find the one true living God, Jesus, in the Gospel of John, because there are brothers and sisters in the greater Middle East risking their lives to bring them the good news. You'll see some projects on the screen that we're supporting in some different countries. If the Lord's put on your heart this desire to reach people in the Muslim faith or people in that location, we'd love to talk to you. Thanks so much for listening.